Om Nakradunda Mahakaya
Mahaya
Surya Koti
Yakoti
Samaprabha
Samaprabha Nirvignam
Nirvignam Kurume
Kurume
Deva Sarvakaryeshu
Sarvada
Sarvada Saraswati
Saraswati
Namastubhyam
Namastubhyam
Varade
Varade
Kamarupini
Kamarupini
Vidyarambham
Vidyarambham
Karishyami
Karishyami
Siddhir
Siddhirvate
Bhavatame
Sada
Sada Gurur
Guru
Brahma Gurur
Guru
Vishnu Gururdeva Maheshwaraha Guru
Guru
Sakshat
Sakshat
Param
Brahma
Brahma Tasmai
Tasmai
Shri
Gurave
Gurave
Namaha.
Namaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu Mavid Vishavahe Om Shanti 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 Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha
Shri Paramatmane Namaha.
Atha Panchamodhyayaha
Atha Panchamodhyayaha.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha
Shri Bhagavanuvacha.
Shloka number 19 Ihaiva tairjitah sargo yesham samye stitham manaha
Ihaivathejitha sargo yesham samye sthitam manaha.
Nirdosham hi samam brahma tasmad brahmani te stitaha
Nirdosham hi samam brahma tasmad brahmani te sthitaha.
The the shloka, another important shloka here. This is the previously Bhagavan said Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavyastini Shudishchaiva Shapakecha Shudishchaiva Shapakecha Panditaha Samadarshinaha Panditaha, they have the vision of oneness, Brahma Darshanam with regard to everything, all beings. Now, here Bhagavan explains why, what is attained by those who have this vision of oneness. We saw this look and we have read also this all this, but anyway we will read again. Sargaha means this creation, this janma marana, samsara. Iga eva taihi jitaha. Here itself is conquered by those who have the mind which is established in this Brahma. Samya is Brahmani, whose mind is rooted in Brahma, established in Brahma. This who have nishta in Brahma, who have the knowledge, the strong knowledge, assimilated jnanam, aham Brahma asmiti. Therefore, nirdosham hi samam Brahma. This Brahma is sama. Tasmat Brahmani te sitaha. Because Brahma is sama. It is same. It is same means it doesn't change. It is one. It is non-dual, ekam. Everything is Brahma. Therefore, samam Brahma. There is no taratamya. There is no differences. Therefore, that's why it is free from defects. Samam iti. It is same. Nirdosham. Free from defects. Therefore, Tasmin Brahmani te avastitaha, they abide in Brahma. We have seen how those who have knowledge of the Atma being Brahma are free from doership and enjoyership caused by ignorance and error. Ignorance is ajnanam, error is adhyasa. So Janita, Kartrutvam, Bhoktrutvam not there, therefore they have Nishta in Brahma. Their ignorance and everything caused by it has been destroyed in the wake of Jnanam. So Ajnana Nivritti, because of Jnana, Vritti, Jnanam. Therefore, their minds are awake to Atma being Brahma. And Brahma is free from sense of limitation. It is samam and free from defects. Nirdosham, dosharaitam Brahma. They know that they are free, and because for them I is Brahma alone. The only thing which is nirdosha is Brahma. Everything is sadosha. Everything else is with the defects. But Brahma is free from defects because it is not born, it is not subject to change, it is doesn't undergo any change, no karma, no kartrutvam, no karyatritvam. Therefore, nirdosham Brahma, being free and being free from defects and being free. The one who knows that Brahma, it is asangam Brahma, he also free. They know that they are free because for them Brahma is Atmaham iti. There is no longer any doubt of error and nothing more remains to be accomplished. Krita krityaha. They have accomplished that to be accomplished, therefore nothing else to be accomplished further. Such people are Brahma in everyone and everything. Such people see Brahma in everything and everyone. Being established in this jnanam, therefore everything is Brahma, the Brahma darshanam. They enjoy. The most exalted to the lowliest. That is why we give the example. When Bhagavan gave the example, Vidya Virya Sampanne Brahmane and Shunishaya Shupakecha, that person. Therefore, that superiority, inferiority, the Taratamya, exalted, lowliest, it's only for the Anatma, not for the Atma. Because Atma is Asanga, Atma is Karta, it is not Karayita, Atma is Asanga, it is Avikriyaha, doesn't undergo any change. Therefore, it is always Atma is Dirdosham, it is free from defects. What has defect? Only the Upadhi. The Upadhi only, we have Utkrishta Upadhi, Nikrishta Upadhi, exalted, lowliest. Exalted Upadhi, Brahmana, Vidya Vinay Sampannaha, Brahmanaha. Shapakaha is lowliest. There is Taratamya in terms of Guna. One is Sattva Pradhana, other one is Tamoguna Pradhana. So, in Prakriti, in Anatma, there is difference, but in Atma, there is no difference. Because they know that there is only one Atma, as one sun is there. Sun alone is reflected in the river water. Sun alone is reflected in the gutter water. Sun is not contaminated. Sun is not purified by its reflection in the Ganga. The sun is not, it is not sullied by its reflection in the gutter water. Sun is what it is. So it remains untouched by the water, both the waters, Ganga water or gutter water. Similarly, Atma is, that is what nirdosham, dosharagitam Brahma, iti. So, therefore, nirdosham samam Brahma, because they know that there is only one Atma in all of them, that Atma in all the beings is the Atma, that is their own self. We saw this also. Sarvabhuta Atma Bhuta Atma iti. They know that Atma is not affected by anything that happens to the body, mind, senses, be it respected Brahmana's Atma or the dog eater's Atma. Atma is like the sun which is reflected in the gutter water and the Ganga water. Sun is not touched, not contaminated by its reflection in the water. Similarly, Atma is not contaminated by its manifestation in the Upadhi, whether it is Sattagura Pradhana Upadhi or Tamagura Pradhana Upadhi. Atma is not touched. In the Vyavahara, we appreciate the Upadhi. In Vyavahara, we have Upadhi Veda is there, therefore there is protocol. But from the Paramarthika standpoint, there is nothing. So we should not confuse Vyavaharika and Paramarthika. Vyavaharika, we have Taratamya. There is difference between the Shapaka and the Brahmana. They are not equal. Brahmana and Shapaka are not equal in Vyavahara. In terms of Guna, there is Taratamya. Brahmana is exalted, is superior, is knowledgeable, cultured, is a refined person, refined behavior, matured person, but not Shapaka, uncultured, unrefined person, is also Ashuddha, the dirty. So therefore, Taratamya is there in Vyavahara. But from the absolute standpoint, there is no Taratamya. This is not understood, uh, therefore only the confusion is. In Vyavahara also, some people, they tend to treat them equally. They cannot be equal. As we don't equal the intelligent person and the ignorant person. Even in the simple class, there is Taratamya among the students. The intelligent student in the class and the dull student in the class. There differences are there. The question is common asked by the teacher, but the most intelligent he answers immediately. The most dull he cannot answer even if it is given 1 week time. The differences are there. Are they equal? Yes, as a student, as students they are equal. But in terms of the intelligence, there is difference. So the differences has to be acknowledged, to be accepted. The differences are the Vyavaharika level. It is not absolute. It is mithya. Mithya means it's not a myth or it doesn't exist. It exists. It has got only Vyavaharika reality, not Paramarthika. The mithya is not understood. That is why the confusion is. Atma is one whole, limitless, and is manifest in every intellect, just as one space in every stomach, the one space in all the parts. What space? As you find all pervasive space wherever you go, so to consciousness, Atma is everywhere. Atma is not limited by Desha and Kala, time and space. It seems to be conditioned by Desha Kala, by a particular Shariram, but Atma is not conditioned. Atma is always there in any place, and all movement takes place in Atma only. But the Atma doesn't move. Atma, where can it move? If it has to move, if Atma can move, then it has to move to the place where it is not. Atma is everywhere. So where Atma is not, so there is no place Atma is not. Even Atma cannot touch its Anga, the Sharira, the body, because Atma doesn't have a body. So therefore, consciousness is Chaitanyam. Atma is always there in any place and all movement take place in Chaitanyam. Atma is this Chaitanyam, the consciousness. Those who know this are Samadarshis. They have the vision of Atma, vision of Brahma, because they recognize Atma in all the beings. Now, the mind has to be prepared. For this vision, the mind has to be made ready. The wise do not take the Atma as a limited entity, knowing that it is all pervasive and unaffected. Atma is not affected by the body or the nature of even a dog eater or anything the person does. But the ignorance do not recognize this fact because they have Abhimana with the Karya Karana Sangata, this body mind sense complex. Therefore, they think dog eater, dog eater Atma and the Brahmana Atma are different. Iti Agyani Chintayati, ignorant things. If a wise man were to teach a dog eater, what would he teach him? Would he say your Atma is impure because you have been eating dogs? No, Atma is ever pure. And so a wise man cannot make such a statement. If he makes such a statement, then he is not wise. He is otherwise. Therefore, all he can teach is Tatatvam Asi, even to dog eater, to Brahmana also, regardless of whether the listener is an angel, a god, or a dog eater. How can one say Tattvam Asi unless the self, the Atma happens to be Tattva, the self of everything? So Atma is the truth of everything, and hence it is always the same. It doesn't undergo any change. This is why the wise person can share his or her vision with anyone. Because Atma is same. That's why it is the teaching also universal, because it is same. The question, of course, remains whether the listener will be able to understand the teaching. That's the difference. The differences are only in the listener's capability, listener's intelligence to grasp the teaching. He or she may require some polishing. Polishing means antakarana shuddhi. The mind has to be prepared, for which we have various disciplines. There are various disciplines available for antakarana shuddhi. First, the dog may be removed from the dog eater's diet so that the person can become a little more sensitive And that may be followed by other disciplines such as prayer, etc. Possible. Only when the mind of the listener has been prepared can the knowledge take place. Therefore, only we emphasize on Karma Yoga or any other discipline which can facilitate the mind to receive the jnanam. One has to be prepared. Suddenly, one day one cannot arrive at jnanam. One will not get jnanam. So the mind has to be prepared. So none of the preparations being discussed here are to purify the Atma. It is only to prepare the mind to recognize the Atma. That Atma has always been pure. Atma is ever pure. So therefore, Atma cannot be made pure. Then what is made pure is only the mind. Because in the mind only knowledge takes place, therefore it has to be relatively pure, relatively free, relatively enjoy what Atma is at the absolute level. Atma is Sat Chit Anandaha, free from insecurity, free from unhappiness, free from all sorts of limitations. That should be at the relative level. The Antakaram should enjoy at the relative level sufficient security, relative peace, relative happiness, relative contentment, relative adequacy. That is achieved by the Karma Yoga, the disciplines. Therefore, it is not a preparation for Atma, it is a preparation for the mind. Not does this preparation have anything to do with changing the cells of a person's physical body? Because the person is a dog eater. You cannot replace the cells of the person by the Brahmana cells. So the preparation has only to do with the person's mind. The mind has to be prepared, and that is all we try to do. Treating everyone as equal is not the point, important, because this is taken literally by the people who don't understand this, either don't understand or don't want to understand. Another point Shankaracharya clarifies in his introduction to the shloka is that when Krishna says the wise man see the same Atma in everyone, it doesn't mean that it treats everyone equally. Suppose a person looks upon a Brahmana and a dog eater as equals, placing them on the same pedestal, for example, so to speak. Can you say that such a person has a vision of Brahma in all? No, you cannot say, not necessarily. The person may be ignorant, not wise. What must be understood here is that it is not the wise do not perceive a dog eater as a dog eater. Of course they do. The wise person knows the difference. He perceives a dog eater as a dog eater, a Brahmana as a Brahmana. He doesn't perceive a dog eater as something which is different from what he is. Similarly, Brahmana also. They got a Brahmana also. Otherwise, he's not the person, is not a wise person. Therefore, he perceives the object, he perceives the person as it is. What Bhagavan says here is that they recognize one Atma in everyone and everything. One self that is a self, that the truth of all. Sarvabhuta. These are the people being discussed in this shloka. They alone are the Samad Darshinaha referred to all in the previous shloka. The word Sarga, which occurs in the shloka, means Janma and Marana. That implies Sarga meaning creation, birth. And that implies a cycle of Janma Marana, births and deaths, called samsara, the life of becoming, what we call life of becoming, that the ignorant are caught up in. The samsara is now jitaha, won over by, conquered by the wise person, which means there is no Janma, there is no future Janma for them. No Janma, therefore no Maranam. They are free from this body, mind, senses. So that they cannot ensnare them anymore. And the winning over takes place while one is alive, in this body, in this life, at this time. It's called Sadhyo Muktihi. Right now, here, Ihaiva, right now, while living in this body. There is no postponement. Really here now. It is now, not later, not tomorrow, not after tomorrow, not next year or next month. It is now. These people have gained a victory over this life of becoming through knowledge. Bhagavan then describes the mind of those who gain this victory as being established, as steady, as stita, in that which has the sameness, samye. Samya means that which doesn't undergo any change or modification whatsoever. That is Samya, referring to Samya, referring to Brahma. Then Atma is free from attributes, not being subject to time. Brahma doesn't undergo any change. If Brahma doesn't undergo any change, Brahma doesn't undergo any change, then the Brahma is Sama, same. It is Nirdoshaha. Brahma has no qualities, and therefore there is nothing that can undergo change. A substance, for example, has its own peculiar attributes. By adding or taking away certain attributes, the substance undergo a change. A change is nothing but addition and or subtraction of an attribute. Even if the substance is left alone in the course of time, its attributes undergo changes. That is a law, that is a nature. Thus, it always goes on changing. That is why everything is changing in the world. That's why gachati gachati iti jagat. Jagat is something that which undergoes change continuously. There's a continuous change. In spite of change, there is only one thing that doesn't undergo any change whatsoever, and that is Atma, that is Brahma. Even space disappears in sleep, but not Brahma. Not being subject to change, therefore, there is no death for Brahma. Atma neither dies, nor does it cause anything to die. Na hanti, na hanyate. Death is only a substance, only for a substance that obtains within time. Brahma is not something which is subject to time, therefore, there is no death for Brahma. If you analyze Atma, you will see it can be only Chaitanya, pure consciousness. This analysis, the analysis itself is possible because of my being conscious of my mind, senses, and body, this world and the people, with reference to which I take myself to be a separate entity, which is not true. So when I take myself to be this limited body, means it's complex, then I become different, I am different, Atma is different. Body is me, and Atma is me, but the body becomes Atma. The body becomes the Atma. The body endowed with the Chaitanyam becomes me. Therefore, and the body is objectifiable, therefore the objectifying body is me. And Atma, which is not available for objectification, therefore it is myself, it is very subject. That even though it is me, but because of Abhimana, Atma is taken, there's a Sharira Mana Sangata is taken to be myself. Therefore, being bound, as though being bound by the Sharira Mana Sangata, he becomes an individual entity, separate entity, different from Brahma. That is not true. In fact, all that I can objectify is what you can objectify is only Anatma. Anatma can only be objectified because they alone undergo change. What undergoes change, that alone can be objectified. And the changing has got the unchanging Adhara, Adhisthana. The non-changing is a support for the changing. The changing needs a support. Without a support, a thing which changes cannot change. And a thing which changes definitely must have a support. So Atma is a support. It is the Adhisthana and all the other things, all the Shayama Sankata are the Adeya. They are supported. Therefore, Atma is supported. This is Atma is the Adhara Adhisthana. That is only from the reference point of Shayamana Sangata. Atma is neither a supporter nor a supported. It doesn't support. Atma is what it is. Atma exists independently. And this Shayamana Sangata, which do not exist independently, as its existence depending on the Sat Atma. Therefore, Atma is available for objectification because it has dependent existence. That which has dependent existence, that which is not real, which is mithya, that alone can be objectified. Therefore, anatma is mithya, that can be objectified. What about Atma? Atma is my self-evident. Therefore, not available. Not, it's not self-evident. Therefore, no need for objectification. It is self-evident, self-existent. Even Even time is evident to this self-evident Atma, meaning the time is also available for objectification. Time means space also. Time doesn't objectify consciousness. Rather, in my consciousness, there is a concept of time. The concept of time rises in consciousness. Therefore, time also is a dependent entity. Anything other than Atma, being totally dependent upon Atma for its existence, is called Mithya. And Atma is, that is self-existence, is self-existent, is Satyam, the truth of everything. Therefore, not being bound by time, Satya Atma is not subject to change or death. It always remains the same. Therefore, in this shloka, the word Samya, all these are explanation for the word Samya, same, meaning the self in everything and not affected by Punya Papa, not affected by karma and the karma pala, Punya Papa, or the qualities of the Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Not affected is what is Sama is. Not that all are equal, physically equated. Not affected, therefore Sama iti. And for whom is this Samya, the Atma? Certainly not for the one who is affected. Certainly not for the one who has got a Shriramana Sangata, that Abhimana. Shriramana Sangata Abhimana, for the one who has, for him, not. Suppose I take myself as one who possesses the good qualities of a Brahmana. For example, can I sit beside a dog eater and watch him eat, even if the food is nicely served and the table beautifully decorated with flowers and all? Of course not. Being a humble Brahmana, I will surely shrink and want to leave immediately. Does it mean that does that mean a jnani must sit, must treat the Brahmana and the dog eater the same? The Brahmana, even the Brahmana, naturally, if Brahmana, he will, as a Brahmana, I will surely shrink and want to leave immediately. Because the watching the dog eater eating, is not a good, it's not a pleasant sight for a Brahmana. So it is in the name of Samya, the Atma. One cannot sit by his side and watch him eating. So therefore, from the standpoint of the Atma, it is same. But from the body, mind, sense, is Anatma standpoint, it has its the differences. Because Anatma is nothing but that which changes, which has Taratamya, which has differences. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Therefore only a Jnani, though he knows everything is Brahma Atma, he is not equating physically Brahmana to a dog eater. Appreciate the difference between the Anatma, the two Anatma. Brahma is Anatma. Dog eater is also another Anatma. So, a Jnani, suppose if he sees Brahman and the dog eater as the same, from the Anatma perspective, then he's not a Jnani. From the Atma perspective, it is same. From Anatma perspective, definitely they are different. If I am the Atma that enjoys the attributes of scholarship and so on, and another Atma is the one who has the attributes of ignorance and error, then definitely each Atma is different. But the wise people, the Panditaha, Samadarshi, have the vision of that Atma is same in all, unaffected by everything, and everything that happens to be done by anyone. Then moksha is not Igaivata Gita Swarga. That line is interpreted. Moksha is not a postmortem job, it is now here itself. For those whose minds are awake to this Atma, to this knowledge, the life of becoming is stopped, it's no more, even while they are alive. Here, eva, in this body itself. This means the freedom is not after death. How can the knowledge of Atma happen after death? It has to happen while alive. Well, while alive, jnanam happens and therefore freedom. How can the person be free after death? So, knowledge also cannot take place after death. Knowledge happens while living. Then one has to become free. Therefore, there is no freedom, gaining freedom after death. The freedom is here and now while living. And all you do after death is travel. That again depends on the person. If you spend your whole life meditating on Brahma as the cause of everything, praying to the Brahma and so on, without understanding that you are Brahma, then you may go to Brahma Loka, the heaven considered to be the greatest place of all the heavens. Brahma Loka is a Loka where Brahmaji lives. Brahmaji, who is the Srishtikarta of this Kalpa. So Brahmaji, Chaturmukha Brahma, not Brahma, Brahmaji, we say. So from Brahmaji, he has to learn Shastram again. He has to do Shravanam and gain Jnanam and become free. Otherwise, again, he will come back. Abrahma Loka, Puranavartino Dujana. If he doesn't attempt and gain Jnanam, in spite of attaining Brahma Loka, he has to come. Brahma Loka is another Loka, like Swarga Loka. It is some Loka above Swarga Loka. Above Swarga, not physically. That is, the Loka is a Utkrishta Loka, where Brahmaji is. That Brahmaji is a post, the designation, like a Yamadharma, the Yamadharma Raja and Kathopada, we have said that that's the Padavi, the designation. Similarly, Brahmaji is a designation. Therefore, going to that place, because of Punyam, of his the Upasana he gained, he may go to that place. That is not moksha. Going to that place, again, there he has to work for Jnanam and become free. That's called Karma Mukti. A person can gain Mukti in that place. That's called Karma Mukti. Please don't ask me if there is a Brahma Loka. I cannot prove. Shastram says, therefore, we accept. I cannot prove that there is. And you cannot prove that there is not also. Because Shastram says Shastram is a Brahman, therefore we have to accept, acknowledge. Therefore, let us simply assume that the Brahma Loka is. And that you have lived a life of devotion to Ishvara. Will go there and live with Brahmaji for some time. Sometime is a long time. It's not from the standpoint of the earth, it is a long time. They will enjoy peace and whatever happiness Brahma Loka has to offer. Eventually, at the end of this Srishti, Brahmaji may decide, eventually that is different. Eventually, Brahmaji, because of your commitment, he may decide to teach you. What will he teach? The same thing. You can Tattvam Asi, same Mahavakya. I can teach only Tattvam Asi, exactly what you were taught before. Therefore, when you are here in this life, the same thing will be taught. Now Brahmaji is teaching, therefore you understand, you become free, you are liberated by that knowledge. When does this liberation take place? Only now, always now. You become free. So you will live with Brahmaji, then that you get Deha Mukti, that at the end of Srishti, when Brahmaji itself gets resolved, then the person also, its Karana Shariyam also resolved, therefore becomes free. Becomes free for once forever. So moksha happens the moment the jnanam is gained, understood. The jnanam is gained and understood. And understanding is important, not just studying the Upanishad. Understanding the meaning of the words of the Vakya. Therefore, that understanding, assimilation, that is what is jnanam is. The moment jnanam happens, you become free. You are liberated. Therefore, it is always now, whether it is here or the Brahmaloka, knowledge. Once the knowledge is gained, then you become free. That moment you become free. Because bandha is only bandha, the bondage. Bondage is notional. When the notion is removed, you become free. You don't have to wait to become free. You are free. Whether it is here or there. When it is possible here, then why should you travel all the way to Brahma Loka and then gain? It is not easy also, the travel. So therefore, there is here, there is no death after, there is no after death moksha. There is no moksha after death. If survival is there after that, there is only travel. That is not moksha. Moksha gained by being taught by Brahmaji or being taught by any teacher in this world is also is not after death. Moksha taught by Brahmaji is also not after death moksha. Moksha is not an event in time. This is Swamiji's famous line. Moksha is not an event in time. It doesn't happen somewhere in time. It is an accomplished fact. Siddhasya siddhihi. Therefore, vittasya vittihi it is. It is a fact to be known. Accomplished fact that has to be known. Therefore, Atma is always liberated, always muktaha. If bondage were real, even God could not remove it. God cannot remove it because it will become a reality, God's own reality. Nor can God remove a bondage that is false, because it is false, because it is not there. If it is real, Bhagavan cannot remove it. If it is not there, if it is false, then also Bhagavan cannot remove it because it is not there. Therefore, no one can remove something that doesn't exist, not even God. God can only teach and make you understand that there is no bondage. Therefore, teaching that way Shastram. Then this Atma, which is Nirdoshaha, Nirdosham Samam Brahma, that is explained. Atma is, Brahma is pure, it is stainless. I think we will read this. The first class. Stop here. Atma is stainless. It is. We'll stop here. We'll discuss this in the next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Dhanyavadaha